Now, the captain growls, grabbing all three of their attention. What happened? More importantly, however, why are you here? Before Rosner can answer, the captain speaks again. You know, I really do not care. I'm not your militia. Not that you have any anyhow. But I warn you, if you come in contact with any of my men again, there will be consequences. After that, he walks around the front of the Forgotten Gin. Lovely, is he not? Asra asks with mild irritation. Rosner barely hears his sister. Commotion near the snake's den catches Rosner's attention. He looks over at a small crowd making their way through the market from the docks. It does not take long for Rosner's feet to route to the spot. Asra shakes him. He looks at her. Her eyes have changed to concern. He just hopes his eyes do not betray him and show her the fear that writhes within him. You okay? Rosner nods, still in a slight daze. He prays they can avoid this inevitable encounter. Yeah, we should go. He starts on his way. Asra follows a second after, with Kadoric at her heels. Every few steps, Rosner steals a glance back to ensure they evaded his sight. If he caught wind of them, there would be no escape. After following the path away from the harbor for a short distance, the thin wood opens to a clearing. In its center is a large pond. A wide creek flows from the harbor into its north end, and at the opposite end is their destination. Nothing more than a hut over a set of piers, the shipyard is a simple place where their father builds or fixes small fishing boats or rafts. Occasionally, a trader will come in after traversing a rough storm, but he's here constantly, saying work always needs to be done, even if it is having his children clean up the place. As they approach, it seems to them their father is busy making plans for a new craft, and likely will not notice them. Then he peers up from his work. Does nothing I ask of you three matter? He demands. Do you know how long I have been waiting? After waiting a few seconds and not receiving a reply, he finishes the discussion. You can start with the scrap timber littering this place. When the three are slow to move, he tells them, I'm not going to ask twice. The three head to work, dragging every piece of timber in defiance as they go. Not 10 minutes later, Rosner hears Asra's voice. Well, look at this. Guess who's gone? The sound of a rock hitting the pond pounds in Rosner's ears. He calls us out to do his work so he can go and drink away his problems. I mean, really? Rosner sets down the few planks he has on his shoulders against the outer wall of the building. As he stretches out his arm, he turns to find his sister picking up branches that had broken from a storm a few days ago and angrily throwing them in a pile. You sound surprised, Rosner breathes through his stretch. I'm irritated he has not changed us all, Asra mutters. Curious, Rosner asks Kadoric what he thinks, but receives only a shrug in reply. Kadoric keeps his head down while he combs the ground with his fingers looking for nails. For a moment, Rosner watches his brother. He understands there is a sadness in all of them, but his brother, he holds enough for all of them. But knowing his brother, he is not going to talk easily, so he lets it go, for now. Instead, his thoughts drift to his father again. Even though he could not comprehend it, Rosner knows when he was an infant, his father was a great man. At least, that is how their mother makes it seem. In the past, their mother would tell them a story about how they met. Usually, it was when she wished she still lived in those days. Their father, she recalls, was a sailor who transported goods to nearby towns. She herself ran her parents' stand of trinkets and odds and ends. At first, she took him to be any other customer, but every week he kept returning. He would buy hats and bracelets, quills and ink, plates and bowls, until eventually he was there every day. Of course, she quickly figured out he was not using any of what he was buying, but she could not bring herself to say anything. She enjoyed seeing him in his black long coat and matching tri-point hat. His tall, muscular build attracted her, and her slender body attracted him. They married, and soon after had him. Rosner's mind drifts until he stares at the tower over the treetops. Its height reminds him of the story his mother told him that changed his father, how he fell from a height of about half that of the towers. Their mother says it happened not too long after they found out they were going to have Asra. His mother says their father was heading to the crow's nest when a large gust of wind started to blow. Before he knew it, the wind had picked up to a dangerous strength. He figured he had a better chance of descending rather than staying where he was, so that is what he did. On the way down, a handle broke from the mast about 20 feet up. The wind snatched him from the mast, and he fell to the deck. He landed on his back, unconscious. It took him a week to wake up. Their mother says she felt blessed when he was alive, but it was hard won. He woke with no memory of anyone, including himself. He had to learn how to talk, write, and eat again, and for a while he could not walk. When he finally recovered, their mother realized there was still something missing. To most, he seemed to have recovered well, but she knew better. Whatever happened that day, the wind and the gods took her husband away. Now they typically only speak to each other when they are yelling, and whenever he gets angry with something, he heads to the Forgotten Jinn to sleep with the barmaid. But despite how their father acts, no one does anything. What can any of them do? Their mother, against everything, still hopes to see the man she fell in love with, and the three of them are just children. If any one of them thought they could get away with calling their father out, they would not be here. But they never feel like they can, so now they are left to clean up his messes. Once the shipyard is cleaned as much as they care to do, and most of the day is spent, the three siblings walk back the way they came. Before leaving the clearing, Rosner halts Asra and Kadoric. In the shadows, he spots someone leaning against a tree, watching them. Even before he reveals himself, Rosner knows who it is. He curses under his breath. The kid really does not have anything better to do than pick on him and Asra. For some reason, he does not bother with Kadoric. Not that Rosner is complaining. Better to leave him alone than for all of them to have this kid's attention. The three watch him stalk over. His wild, forced green eyes never leave them. He stops a few steps away. His dirt brown hair falls to his shoulders, sticking out at every angle and full of grease. His wicked smile displays the cruel entertainment he takes from this moment. His tall, heavily tanned body is caked in dirt from the wood floor. He glances over Rosner and Asra, faltering only when he spots Kadoric. Halcro narrows his eyes. "What in the seven realms are you doing here?" Kadoric does not hesitate. He bolts up the path without a word, leaving his siblings behind with a kid who has known a Sturm for 3 reigns more than Rosner. The kid's crazed laughter chases Kadoric until he disappears around the bend. Watching his brother run in fear churns Rosner's insides. This is not right. This is not fair. "What is your problem, Halcro?" Rosner demands. His eyes grow wide, unable to believe his own words. Halcro laughs, barely managing to control the flames that Rosner realizes he lit within. "I do not have a problem. It is you," he shoves Rosner. Who has a problem? Leave him alone, Asra cries out. Mind your manners, Gilly, Halcro warns, pushing her aside. Asra stumbles back and slips in a pool of mud. Watching this ignites anger within Rosner. Leave her alone! Wow. Looks like he was trying to be brave now, Halcro chuckles. What are you gonna do? Rosner holds his tongue. Instead, he does something he never thought he would do. He charges. He manages to catch Halcro off guard, but he still recovers before Rosner makes contact. The boy steps to the side and sticks out his foot, sending Rosner head over heels until he runs into a bush. You know, Halcro shares, every day we see each other, I wonder why I bother with you two. But by the end of our pleasant encounters, I remember why. You two bring me so much joy. See you around. After he disappears back into the woods, Rosner looks at Asra. I really hate him.